Perfect. Well, good morning, or actually good afternoon at this point. I'm going to start with a confession. I sleep with my smartphone. And that means it's on the bedside table next to me and it's plugged in. It's what puts me to sleep at the end of the day. I listen to music, I listen to podcasts, or I read my Kindle books on it. When I wake up in the morning, it tells me how much of a rush am I in? Is there a problem, or can I take a leisurely path to work and drop my kids off to school? I'm just curious, how many people here in this room have their smartphone when they're in bed sleeping within 2 feet? Okay. We all sleep with mobile devices at this point. Mobile is this most ubiquitous, that's kind of interesting, let's get past that. This most ubiquitous device. It is, if you ignore it, incredibly disruptive. It will break business models, but if you leverage it and you take advantage of it, it really makes business models. And for a lot of the companies we work with in the development space and in the content space, they've all begun developing for mobile first, and they think about the other screens. And that's maybe backwards 2 or 3 years ago, and today it's where a lot of the most successful companies are going. There are 6.6 billion cellular connections around the world today. 6.6 billion, that means many of the people around the world have more than one. So I might have, in fact, I've got 2 with me right now. I have a smartphone and I have an LT connected tablet. And both of those devices are connected and I use them for different things. So this is just a massively ubiquitous device and it's really changed everything we do. When you, I'll just share some stats on where it is today, and then I'm going to talk to you about how everything you've seen so far is going to be a little boring. And I'll say boring 18 or 24 months from now. This is the device people won't leave their house with. 70% of consumers that have a smartphone, if they leave the house without it, they'll turn around and go back and get it. And it makes a lot of sense. It really is your everything device. It used to be in the old days, this was your business productivity. You'd see the guys on the planes with the BlackBerries. And they'd be doing their emails and talking to their secretaries. Today, your smartphone's an everything device. It is your portable game player. It is your digital camera. It's how you comparison shop when you're at Best Buy. It's how you social network. It's much more fun to social network from a bar than from your office desk. It's pretty much your everything device. It's the thing you take with you no matter where you go. Mine's in my bag. I'm vaguely uncomfortable about that. I hope Shelly doesn't steal it. But I'm almost never far away from it. It's usually within feet of me, and very often it's inches away from my skin, or frankly, in my breast pocket near my heart. So it's a device that people don't ever put down. But it's going to change, because if you think about your smartphone today, it's fairly passive, and this will be the revolution. Today it sits there, it's doing things in the background, it's syncing your email, it's switching from Wi-Fi to cellular to get you the cheapest connection or the fastest speed or the lowest power. It's telling you who's posted stuff to Facebook and Twitter, but it's sitting there waiting for you to do something. And it's passive. It's really a passive partner in your life. But your smartphone is about to change. And it's going to change largely because of what's happened with the software ecosystem, but this is really where Qualcomm comes in, largely also because of what we've done with the chips that are sitting inside these phones. You all probably remember the phone of 2 years ago, particularly the early LTE phones, where you'd make it till about lunch and then you'd be hunting for a plug. So battery life was just a massive challenge because the operating systems were demanding, the screens were demanding, the apps were demanding, and the chips were just trying to deliver more and more performance, but at lower and lower power. The new wave of chips that's already come out are so power efficient that they can let your phone run multiple things all at the same time. And that means your phone can be aware. And I'll show you an example that Paramount did, taking advantage of some Qualcomm technology. I think we get the old, let's skip past this, pardon me. I'm going to go back. Oh, we have slightly different slides. Let me tell you what Paramount did, and I don't have the Star Trek images to show you. So Paramount announced in January Star Trek Into Darkness. And they had a great asset because Star Trek fans are some of the most rabid and committed fans ever. And I say that as a compliment because I am a Star Trek fan. Star Trek fans wanted to know what's going to be in the movie, what's the plot line, who are the characters, how are things changing, what's happening to the bones. And they were dying for content, and so they were highly engaged. And Paramount said, let's work with Qualcomm and build an app. Let's let this app actually not just sit there in the background and require consumers to find it and click it and do something, because that very often is death in the application space. Let's actually have this app be aware. And so this app took advantage of what we could do with the latest chips. So we gave it senses. We let it use the microphone in the smartphone that's already there to listen. We let it use the camera to look, and we let it use the GPS to know where the phone was. And here's what Paramount did. Rabid Star Trek fans download the app, put it on their phones. They'd be watching TV at night. They'd be tweeting or texting or Facebooking with friends, whatever we all do on our phones while the TV's there too. And on would come the trailer for Star Trek Into Darkness. And their phone in the entire time had been listening in the background because we can run at such low power. And the phone recognized the trailer was playing and it said, hey, you're watching the trailer for the movie where you've downloaded the app. And it said, do you want a special content offer? Here are sneak peek scenes nobody else has. And then share them with your friends. When people took the Star Trek app and they went perhaps to the theater and they took an image of the poster, again, they got access to unique content. They could get downloads of games, learn secret parts of the plot for what they hadn't learned yet. When they walked by a theater, the GPS sensor in the phone knew where they were, and they said, hey, Star Trek Into Darkness is playing across the street. Do you want a discount on a ticket? And so Paramount built an app that didn't require user intervention, an app that actually did things for users by using the senses in the phone and enabling users to get value-added content without having to take action beyond the first download. So that is really the smartphone becoming aware and moving from passive partner to active partner in things it can do for you as a user. And in the example of Paramount, moving from a passive marketing tool to active marketing tool, helping them promote the film, but also users get valuable content. But that's really just the beginning. I just talked about 3 basic senses. The next generation of chips that are already shipping into things like the Galaxy Note 3 or the Galaxy S4 phones that Shelley's enamored with as well as I am, they have the capability to not just run a couple of senses, but they can run multiple senses. So Qualcomm calls a lot of this the digital sixth sense. So your phone can know, is it light or is it dark? Am I in a purse or on a desk? Am I right side up or upside down? And I can take action based on that without the user having to push a button. I could say to my next generation phone, hey, Snapdragon, how many emails do I have? And because it's listening all the time, it could react to that code word, hey, Snapdragon, and then do a voice command and say, you have 250 unread emails, which would depress me. It can monitor their environment around you. It can make you comfortable. It knows what the temperature and the humidity and the air pressure is, knows your altitude. It can tell you if you're in danger, if there's a carbon monoxide issue or pollution. It can enable new interaction modes. So I love looking at pictures, but when I'm looking at pictures and you want sort of that beautiful photography experience, you're swiping your finger across and slowly greasing up your screen. The latest generation Snapdragon phones and what's coming out soon, I just swipe above my screen, and the little camera that's always in your smartphone sees my hand, sees the gesture, and swipes. So I don't have to touch the screen to make an action. And then, of course, we talk a lot about mobile health, and I don't know how many people in the room have Fitbits or similar devices. You probably have a wearable device with you already that's your smartphone because it's right here. It knows how active you are, how much you've been moving around. You can connect additional sensors to it. We've seen companies that are able to track certain enzymes in your body that are precursors to having a heart attack. And so for people that are heart attack prone, you can have a sensor that's always measuring the presence of this enzyme, and when it spikes up days before a heart attack, that sensor can alert the smartphone, that can alert your doctor, and you can intervene and avoid a medical problem, not just manage it after the fact. So your phone is about to develop a broad range of senses beyond just what I talked about in that Star Trek app that Paramount built. So your smartphone is going to go from a passive partner to a real active partner in your life. It is a great opportunity for consumers to get way more value out of the devices, buy new devices, buy additional types of devices. For all of us in the room, it's also a great opportunity to think about business models, content delivery, content customization, and really what's possible with the next set of devices. And finally, what's very fun for us at Qualcomm is that, and other panelists have talked about this, it's not just a smartphone phenomena. It may have started with a smartphone and is very quickly surged to new device types. So here we are today. Nokia yesterday announced at Nokia World, which was their global conference, a 10-inch Windows tablet with a Snapdragon chip running it. You get the best of Windows, Office, Outlook, all the business productivity you want. You get the best of a tablet because Snapdragon's in it. It runs for 10 hours. It has LTE, so it's always connected. It plays great games, has beautiful graphics, and you don't think about booting and rebooting and Control-Alt-Delete. So that's a fantastic example of mobile technology jumping to the PC. And what's happening next is that mobile technology is jumping from the from the phone to the television to the smart TV. And so if you go to markets like China, where I get to spend a lot of my time, smart TV is a big thing because broadcast TV equals government TV, and IP-delivered TV is everything else. It's where I watch most of my Living Dead on a IP-delivered service. And so those smartphone processors that are now running tablets are running smart TVs from companies like Lenovo and Xiaomi, who's a real innovator in China. So that mobile technology is suddenly everywhere. What that does mean for folks in the room like you is the software platform is very often consistent, whether it's small screen, medium screen, or big screen. The hardware platform is consistent across small, medium, and large screen. It also means the content protection is consistent. And so the things we've done to build DRM into our chips and allow content protection for both streamed and downloaded content is ubiquitous across all those platforms as well. So with that, I want to thank you very much. And as you look at that phone you're all sleeping with, start imagining what the next one will be like and what you could potentially do with it from a content and a business model perspective. Thanks.